You've spotted that in the Times, that there may be some scheme that Rishi Sunak's got up his sleeve.
Well, yeah, whether you call it a solution or a scheme, I suppose, is the important point. Sunak's not doing much for his sort of image as the rich benefactor who kind of throws a few coins at the nations now and again. He's becoming more and more like Lord Snooty by the day. But he's come out with this new pledge, as the Times calls it, to fine £10 billion in order to help, he says, soften the blow of what's to come in the winter. We know that, and the Times actually reporting here that it could go up to £5,000, which is, you know, eye-watering. It feels like it just jumps by hundreds of pounds week on week on week.
Well, I think 250 jumped the last one with the analysts or yesterday, in fact, they came out with that figure.
Yes, and so bearing that in mind, what the Times reports that every household will benefit from a £200 reduction. I mean, it's like, you know, it's like throwing water in the ocean. It really doesn't cover anything. And the thing that's this kind of race that's happening between Sunak and Truss as to who's going to pledge more money. Obviously, anything at this point for most households is going to be welcome. Because who's going to turn away free money when you're facing such serious crisis? But the biggest problem is that neither candidate is putting forward any kind of long-term solution. They keep saying, Truss keeps saying, wait until September, and I'll announce an emergency budget. For many people, that will be too late. And there's no discussion about what, you know, the roots of this crisis, what will actually happen to prevent things like this happening year on year on year. Very little discussion about any kind of energy infrastructure, very little discussion about any kind of long-term economic plan. And the thing about Sunak is he's someone who, I think, you know, this is kind of more a point on the leadership race. He's proving to be someone who is not necessarily bending to public will, but buckling to kind of the pressure of not having any answers. So he's someone who's made his entire name so far on the idea of sort of fiscal conservatism, being very sort of sensible with the money.
Although he splashed the cash, obviously, with the furlough scheme and business loans, which aren't being paid back because a lot of those businesses suddenly disappeared into the ether. And
he's spent the last few months criticising that as if it was someone else that did it, you know, saying we can't find money from anywhere. And then now to suggest that he's just going to blow $10 billion. I have no problem with the government spending money, but the issue is there seems to be no long-term strategy. And even with the question of a windfall tax, I mean, I have no love for energy bosses. I say take as much money from them as you want, there's no problem. But that's not a long-term solution. And actually, I think the windfall tax gets talked up too much as this wonderful solution to everything, and actually it amounts to peanuts for most people when it comes down to the effect on households. So it's really a depressing thing.
What do we